Welcome back to the Amid the Mess podcast, where we talk all about healthy things and how we can do these things amid the chaos and craziness that is life with children as a family. Because things can get a bit mad, can't they? So today I spoke with Sam Charlwood, who is a dear friend of mine, and she is an amazing strength training coach. She has just been to a retreat where she's had an epiphany about her style in her life, what she's doing, her strength training, how she coaches. And it is so interesting. So that's what we chat about. Sam and I are basically friends. Although you wouldn't believe it, we've never actually met in real life. But we've met online so many times and have had so many interesting conversations. So she's a strength coach. I'm a yoga teacher. And we meet in the middle so well. So I had an amazing time during this conversation. I hope you will too. So the things we talk about, we are actually quite relatable to just life as a parent. So it's not actually much about fitness. It's about life when things get tough and responsibilities start to stack up and up and up, and you feel yourself getting more rigid and more guarded and more kind of pushed through with your endurance. And actually, that's what we talk about. So if that's how you feel, you might get something really useful out of this episode. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy it. You are a strength training coach. Mm-hmm. And in the past, we've talked so much about the benefits of strength training, also within the chaos and mess of family life. But recently, I saw you post on social media something amazing. You've had some sort of epiphany, amazing transformational moment. And now you approach things a little bit differently. And that's why I wanted to get you on. So please let us know what's happened in your world.
Bless you. So this is so amazing. And the timing is so beautiful. And it's funny how I think we bump into people, and you are one of those people who I think it's like a soul family, isn't it? It's like we're kind of sort of so connected that it's like the second something changes, you're like, oh, I spot that. So this was so beautiful. And thank you for asking me, because so effectively, I went on what was known as a business, or was sold as a business retreat. There was business in it, but the people on the retreat were the most incredible women. So there's 15 women on the retreat, and there was just a magic and a few kind of a little perfect storm of a lot of the people within the women were in the wellness space. So they were a lot of, and things that I didn't even know were things. So there was a feminine ceremonialist, and I didn't even know what that was. So it was this wonderful kind of mix of women coming together. We didn't leave the house. So it was 5 days and we stayed in the house. And so the energy that creates this kind of cocoon, this kind of, it starts to breed. I don't know what it is. It kind of starts to swell, and as the days go on, you start to allow your guard to come down a little bit. I think. I mean, the first morning we did this sort of opening kind of yoga. It was beautiful. Just sort of move very in the zone of what you do. This sort of mindful movement, really, more than anything else, and just sort of allowing your bodies to open. And the second I started doing that, the tears started coming. And I think sometimes, as women, when we're holding ourselves together for so long, that the second we allow that to just soften, it's just an outpouring of emotion, isn't it? I think, and when you are holding, I mean, I recognize it in you and your young family and your your listeners as well with their young families and holding everything together, and you kind of just trudging through the days looking for the glimmers of hope that come. Oh, lovely, I get to drink a hot cup of tea, and that
I get to have a shower.
I'm having a shower on my own. And
Bath. Wow, that's even
oh,
out
no,
of my
come
league
on.
right now.
Yeah, you need to get a new dream. But it is those things, and as women we hold that, and my children are older now, but I think what this turned out to be was almost like a coming home. And one of the ladies on the course described it as sort of, going through stages in our life where we have like this maiden stage, and then the sovereign stage, and the crone stage. And when you're in your maiden stage of being young, and everything's kind of working and you're excited, and things happen, but over that period of time you often, you have your children, you perhaps, you take on roles, you take on a big job, you start to move in. And when you then come into what I think now as being my sort of sovereign era, it's been heavy for a long time. And our what we've been holding for quite a long time. And I wonder whether this is part of why people, in the menopause, and when everything starts to kind of change and move, and we kind of go, oh, what's going on now? Does that sort of resonate? Do you sort of see what? And then when we're sort of holding all this, and then we have a choice then as to whether we take on more or whether we can offload some things, and what things are we going to let go of, what things are we going to keep. And then for me, it was a bit like, actually what I did was I started to remember who I was as a maiden.
Yes.
And some of the things, I was a massive hippie when I was it's like 16 and 17. I was like your biggest hippie.
Oh, I love it. Yes, so bring that back.
I know, right? And so all of a sudden I'm now in this era of, wow. And I kept saying over the trip, I'm like, I used to do this. I used to do these things. I used to have crystals. I used to have, all of those sort of things and it's, it's soft, and it's vulnerable, and it's emotional, and it's hopeful. And then we start to layer on, I'm projecting. I layered on lacquer of hardness, and I've just got to cope, and I haven't got time for that, and I need to do this, and I've got work, and I've got children, I've got job, and you harden off, I think. And my biggest take home from this experience, we'll dive into more of it, but the biggest take home for me is the softening and the allowing of the feminine side to come out, and to be a maiden again, and to be gentle and strong.
So I think life had hardened you up a little bit. I guess the toughness of, I think, did you go through single motherhood or not?
Absolutely. So I got divorced, being a single mother, owning a business, all of those things.
Made you strong, tough.
Yeah.
Can't show emotions.
Yeah.
And now, okay, so
then
you've kind of discovered.
Then someone puts their hands on you, and in a gentle and like, I've got you way.
Yes.
And it's amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, that's so amazing. It gives me chills, actually.
It's sort of ridiculous, because it's so not me, but it so is me at the same time. And it's that duality of.
Yeah. Well, maybe the old you, the true you, had been over layered with responsibilities and toughening up and this and that and this. That actually the you were wasn't the real you, and now perhaps you've cracked that open, and now.
I mean, this is how I describe it. I'm texting my friends, and I was like, I have been cracked open, and it's like the sort of like an egg, or whatever you want to describe it, and the soft gooey middle that actually is. And I think that's what I would lean into with this entire thing, is that I don't know whether your listeners are hearing this and going, oh my God, that's me, of like that layering of, we feel like we have to show up and be tough and hard, but actually true feminine energy is soft and gentle but strong. And we're the people who, we look at other cultures, and when someone dies, they're wailing and crying, and they throw themselves on, and in Britain, we sort of drag ourselves into the kitchen and make another round of sandwiches. It's this sort of like, we're sort of, and
Yes.
I know there is, that's a bit of a strange analogy, but it's that whole kind of, we if we look to what we're designed for is strong emotion, and that might be anger, or it might be sadness, or it might be joy, or it might be, our strong emotions that's what makes us feminine as well, isn't it? And, men as well, they have these strong emotions, but in some ways it's sort of easy. Is it, can men display their emotions better? I don't know. They can be angry. They're allowed to be angry. Women are less allowed to be angry, perhaps.
Perhaps. Yes. I mean, this, the conversation about masculine and feminine energy and things, it's a very interesting one. And I actually have to say, I was having a conversation with my husband about this just before we spoke, because I always have a little pre-chat.
Yeah.
Yes, a little warm up to see what's a man's perspective on all of this.
Yeah, brilliant.
And so I recognize completely that there is something about feminine and masculine energy. And I think a woman can have both and a man can have both.
Yeah, I agree.
So yes. So where does that come from? Yeah. So what was I going to say? Something about, so actually it's not necessarily feminine.
No.
It's like the soft energy and the
well, I think it is exactly what it's exactly what you said, is that it's energy, it's not gender or sex. It's
yes.
It's the having that feminine energy and being able to, because interesting, I was talking to my son about this, and he's got quite a strong feminine energy, but he also recognizes that he has a strong masculine energy as well, and being able to lean into both. I mean, I have exactly that, right? I have a very strong masculine energy, which is probably where I was leaning into before. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not all of a sudden sort of swanning around and being uber feminine, as you might think in the traditional sense. What I'm trying to do is to lean more into, when I feel naturally in my feminine, I can lean more into it, rather than go, I shouldn't be feeling that, I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And so both sides can feel that then. So actually, that when men are feeling perhaps more in their masculine, it's okay for them to do that. And also that if they're feeling in their feminine energy, it's okay for them to do that too. So, that maybe it's an energy rather than that sort of
an actual gender. Yes. And there's maybe a bit of an issue with the terminology.
Yeah, for sure.
Because actually both genders can have both these energies.
Absolutely.
But it's just that we use feminine, masculine words.
And it's kind of, I guess it's sort of ancient time, isn't it? Sort of, as everything becomes much more fluid, and everyone's holding different energies in amongst them. And I think it is really interesting to see. I guess I'm just seeing it from my perspective, and how I feel that I have led more into a harder version of myself, which I'm describing, I guess, as a sort of a masculine way of feeling, and noticing, and just some of the discussions had on the retreat with regards to, how, so for example, women in the wellness space now, it's quite interesting, but years ago we would have been witches maybe, or, that it would have been kind of, it wouldn't have been something that was allowed to go on.
Yes.
We're sort of solid outliers, thinking in a different way, introducing new ideas, and just sort of picking through some of that is kind of, well, that's quite interesting. I didn't really think about the fact that, it's fabulous that we can sit and have this conversation, but have we always been able to have this conversation?
Yes, it's a fairly recent thing. Yes. Okay. What I'm very curious about as well is, so how is this changing your approach to training and to how you work with clients?
So quite overnight, I didn't want to train in the same way. Literally got back and was like, I did a lot of CrossFit, and I didn't feel like I wanted to. That's not to say I won't go back to CrossFit, but for the time being, I want to park it. It feels too, what's the word I'm looking for? It feels a bit, it doesn't feel right. It feels a bit forced. I feel like at the moment what I want to do is to train in a way. So I've started doing a bit of running, a bit, the lifting, but still heavy lifting. So I'm not doing. It's not like I've gone. Oh, I'm just going to get some.
You're not getting the 1 kilogram pink dumbbells.
I'm still like squatting, 85, 90 kilos. I'm still doing heavy cleans, but I'm doing it in a way as well that when I start, which again, as I sort of said to you, I've always kind of done this, which is when you're starting lifting, to be mindful in your body. And, some people will listen to particularly heavy music, for example. And I think that is an extension of mindfulness, that you're in your own zone. You've got your headphones on, you're listening to, it could be heavy metal music, whatever, but you are very present. And I've always said, like, lifting is like meditation. And this is now an extension of this, is that just being mindfully present before I start and teaching my clients to be, rather than just kind of going in, oh, I'm in the gym, right, I've got 25 minutes, I better get on with it, what am I going to do for tea while I'm messaging my mum back or whatever. Like, park that for now and take this time of, be in your body, feel in your body, because then you can lean into, so we use something called RPE, for example, rate of perceived exertion. But how are you going to, accurately determine what your perceived exertion is if you're not even aware of your body?
Just to explain to everyone, that's like a scale of 0 to 10 or something like that. And you
how
kind of say,
feel.
Are you doing all out effort or nothing or anywhere in between?
Yeah, yes. Exactly. And there's another one, RIR, which is reps in reserve, which is basically RPE but flipped. So how many, if your RPE is 7 out of 10, for example, so you are perceiving that the exertion is 7 out of 10, then your reps in reserve would be 3. So RIR is 3. So you'd have so it's sort of flipped. It's basically, some people train RIR, some people do RPE, but the same thing applies in that you need to be in your body to understand how hard something is feeling. And we all know how some days we show up in the gym and, 40 kilos can really feel really hard. And then another day we turn up and 40 kilos feels like nothing. And being aware of yourself and just taking a moment and literally just having a moment of, okay, and that can be done in a warm-up situation. So, and that's kind of how I would do it before, is like I'd warm up but literally before you lift, having a moment of, I'm in my body, what am I feeling, zoning in, really being in tune with your body.
I like it. You know what that sounds like?
Yoga?
Yeah. So it sounds like a lovely joint medley of yoga, mindfulness, and strength training,
right?
Which is like fantastic.
I know.
Yes, and
I love that, because that's what I was, and it's sort of like if you put the deadlifting in yoga.
Yes. Well, that's what I do at home. I do like a yoga session, and then I get my 10-kilogram kettlebell. And in between my yoga thing, I do like 10 squats, like slowly, with breathing. And then I carry on doing yoga, and then I do another 10 squats.
Well, that's it. Exactly that. And actually because it's, what a perfect medley. Absolutely, like chef's kiss kind of. And I think how does that feel?
Well, for me, that's just the way I train. And for me, I feel like it avoids, like, it's not intense. My heart rate will go up a bit, but it's not like a sweaty, intense thing. And it's very slow. And like I coordinate my breath with the movement as you would do with the yoga movement.
And because I'm
sorry,
that's exactly what we do with lifting as well.
Yes,
so yes. It's like it's two sides of the same coin.
Yes, and I think the mobility that comes warming up a bit from the mindful movement, which can be yoga, can be something else as well. It does go nicely with then the using your muscles in a more intense way, but keeping that mindfulness, keeping that. How does this feel? And
it's exactly that. And actually, and I feel like it's, like I say, it's something that I naturally just did. And I think because when you can't think about anything else when you've got 130 kilos on your back. There's not because the thing you're thinking is, don't drop it.
Yes.
Don't fail it is what you're thinking. And so that is so in the moment, that you're so in your body, what every cell in your body is feeling like, that's sort of easy to do then when you go to do a different, because you can just switch it in. Probably a bit like you can do it, you can just switch it on. But I don't think I'd realised that other people don't do that, and that actually takes a bit of practice. And
is that similar to like flow state, perhaps? When you are. So my sister has just visited, and she's very much into powerlifting, and she did a big competition.
Amazing.
And she was explaining how one particular point she thought she was in the flow state when she was doing this thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what they're referring to, when your mind is just focused exactly on that particular. There's no other little voices doing this.
It's silent, and it's powerful, right? That's the thing. And actually, I think then it's a muscle that you can flex in other directions. So that's what I think is beautiful about it, is that once you can do that, because I think some people maybe struggle to meditate perhaps in a traditional sense.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. I mean, you say meditate and people switch off because they're like, I can't do that.
My mind never goes to that kind. I'm thinking about something. Well, you're not thinking about something when you've got 130 kilos on your back. So you can do it then. So all you need to do now is extend that out. So it's, it's possible. I think that's the thing, is once you there was a lady on this retreat, and she was talking about the quantum, which is perhaps a bigger, maybe another day for the quantum, but I don't know.
I like it. Try me. Quantum.
No, I mean, I'm no expert at all. But she was sort of talking about how when you are perhaps in a quantum leap, it's almost a bit like sort of scratching. If you imagine you're in your world and you scratch the screen between you and the possibility, the other side, and you scratch, and you look through, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was a possibility. And you've just got a little glimpse, and you just got your eye up to the hole, and you're looking through, and oh my gosh, that's possible. And I think it's that, isn't it? And then all you need to do now is just get your head through, get an arm through, and get through. And once people go, oh no, I can actually clear my mind, but I have to have, something that's clearing my mind for me. But then that can be extended out, and you can then sit and go, okay, I can clear my mind for just a moment. I can put it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And often what gets mistaken with meditation is they think it's the complete clearing of the mind, but actually it's the stepping in a weird way, stepping away from the mind, observing your mind from the outside, and seeing sometimes the thoughts come in and go out, and not judging them and not holding on to them. And that in that process, you eventually get a clear mind for little moments here and there.
Yeah. And just noticing that, as I say, it makes it a possibility. And once it's a possibility, you can kind of go, okay, well, maybe I could give that stuff that Yolanta talks about a try, rather than than completely closing your mind down to meditation being, oh well, it's not something I can do because I'm. And I think that's probably another thing that I would go back to, is that I had boxed myself in as a certain type of person, and sometimes you need something that shifts you. And I did a story the other day about this, and in terms of there are often times. So for me, it's been this retreat, but for sometimes it's giving birth. Sometimes it's going on an extended trip or something that changes you fundamentally, and you are never going to be the same person ever again. And that shift in cellular shift is, that once you've done that, you can't go back. And that's probably what I sort of put myself into I'm this sort of person bracket, and now I'm not. And
it's amazing.
Yeah. And
I can see the way that you've shown up today as well, and your energy and everything. Not that there was anything wrong with the previous you, but there is something in you that has changed. Definitely. Yes.
My I did message my husband on the way home going, look, I'm just going to say, he's gorgeous, and he's like, no, I don't care who turns up. But I was just like, just going to say, and then when I popped out, and I'm just going to go and get a few crystals.
Love it.
So,
don't be alarmed. No. He's like, who even are you?
There's a Palo Santo is being burned in the corner over there. Yeah. So it is it's different for sure, but in the most wonderful way. And I think it's opening your mind. Maybe your listeners are maybe sort of going, oh my God, this woman, it does sound like she's needs to put the crack pipe down. I don't know, but it is that being open to possibility, being open to change, being open to allowing things to change you. I think that's maybe that's one of the key
Yes.
take homes as well, is being open to possibility, being open to that change. And
Absolutely.
then,
yes.
And then how can you bring that into, that's what I liken it to having an ember that you don't want to go out. So I'm sort of protecting that at the moment and keeping it kind of fueling with, because when you recognize a positive change, and people like, if you think about something like, you start going to the gym, and you're full in that first week, you're like, yes, I love it, this is brilliant. And then like you meet a couple of people at the gym and they like going to the gym, but you've got a group of friends actually they don't like going to the gym. And then your family, maybe you're like, oh, what are you spending all your time at the gym for? Or and so it's those,
they're trying to pull you away from to like throw water on this flame.
Exactly, yeah. Yes. So it's likened to that. Like, anytime if you're trying to make a change, or if you have an ember it's not that it's not them. It's not a problem for them. It's not. But if you want to keep that ember going, you do have to find a way to fuel it. And I recognise that it's a very, very positive ember for me. I can tell because I feel different and in a really, really positive way. And so it's keeping that fanned, really. And
yes.
that's, and, making sure that it doesn't go out, talking to people like yourself where you can bounce ideas off each other without sounding, like I say, I don't know, like I'm no expert in this. The door has been opened and I'm like, do you know what? I am going in because I'm
here for it.
I am here for the door being opened. And in fact, maybe it's like a reopening. It's like, oh, that trap door, I'd put that table over. But I'm just...
You're like, no, I was a serious person and I didn't think about those kind of things.
No.
Strictly business.
But I think it's also when you meet really, 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 really clever people who think like that. That's when it always makes me go. So one of the ladies there is a doctor in neuroscience, and
oh wow,
yeah, and then she's talking about ancestral DNA being and all kind of things being passed through. Like, okay, stuff, and
and that opens a world, a potential world that you hadn't really thought about.
Not at all.
Very good. Yeah. Oh, give me her details. I might get her on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely. She's a fascinating lady from Sweden, and I will do. She's really, really. She, apart from anything, she's one of those people who's 29 but could also be 75. She's just so wise, and life is kind of, she's been gifted this wonderful way of imparting knowledge.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Well, I'll get her on.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is kind of being inspired by your transformation and realizing that life wasn't just being tough, layering on the strength, layering on the resilience, and muscling and powering on through. And that probably relates to a lot of people that are in a parenting situation. So, I have very young children, but I like to aim this podcast at both people with younger children, with teenagers as well. You can forget who you are. You can because for so many years of your life, you're just giving almost all your energy out to other people and forget kind of what you liked in the first place. Yeah. So I want anyone listening to this to listen, to kind of be inspired by you, to actually think, okay, even though I might be going through this situation, there is possibility out there. Yeah. You can soften these edges. Maybe not right now sometimes, but in the near future, this is going to be possible for you as well.
Absolutely. And what I would also say is that at no point, I celebrate every stage that has led me to here as well, because I did what was required at the time, and without all of those things, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yes.
And so it's being able to again hold this sort of, a forgiveness, I guess, of I did what I did at the time to do what I needed to do, and now I'm able to take off the armor a little bit, allow the softness in. Do I wish I could have done that then? A little bit. Yeah. I do wish in some ways I had been able to soften, and maybe that would be a little bit of advice to your listeners is don't be scared.
If you're so stuck in a rigid kind of, this is how we survive, this is the only thing we can do. Tough.
Yeah. That softening is okay. it's, you might be, well, I can't soften because I don't have, and I'm lucky. I've got a network of people that I can soften into, and that's oftentimes what is needed, isn't it? Because otherwise you can't soften because someone's got to hold it all together.
Yes.
And if you do have a network, or if you have a way of having times when you can soften, that's what I would urge you to do, is because actually your maiden deserves it. Your maiden deserves to be soft, and it just adds so much to your life. Like,
Mm.
even if you think, oh, I've got a pretty good life, like, it can get better. Like, it can be even better, with just a little bit of softness thrown in.
Yes. Yes. Interesting. How in other ways, how does it manifest in other ways, like with friendships or with
Yeah.
how you communicate? Do you feel like it's going to change other things in your life as well?
Absolutely, because also what it's the confusing part of the sort of this feminine frequency is that, yes, whilst it's soft, it's also firm. So it's
Ah.
like, you know what I mean? It's like that sort of holding the boundaries. If you think of, like, a queen would be back holding the fort, holding while the king is out fighting the wars, the queen is at home holding the boundaries, making sure everyone's fed, sorted out, dealing with laws, having to have, so you have that, you have the boundaries. And actually, if anything, my boundaries have become better, because
Mm.
you can hold a boundary with softness. So you can hold a boundary with love. You can, you can hold your own boundary and still be, no, I understand that, and I'm going to need this. So being able to use that actually feels a lot better as well. Doesn't feel
Yes.
like you're being quite so, no, it's just got to be like that. It's actually, no, I understand. I understand your point of view, and I'm going to need you to hold that boundary. It's because that's what I need as well. So it's being able
Yeah.
to, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Interesting. It does. It does. So it's a different approach
Yeah.
to holding boundaries rather than maybe, I guess, letting people encroach on the boundaries and then getting all kind of
Yeah, exactly. That sort of,
about
yeah.
it.
So yeah, you can get a bit annoyed that somebody's, pushed our boundaries, whereas that's okay. You can, you're allowed to get annoyed, and you can still, come back to them. So it's
Yes.
changed. It's probably changed a little bit, the situations I want to put myself in, just while I sort of protect that ember. Maybe I don't
Yes.
feel like I've got it nailed to take. Sometimes when I'm with someone and they sort of, on my, I'm like, oh,
Oh, no, don't.
no, 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 no way. So yeah, I'm probably a little bit protective of who I spend time with right now, but that's not, that's not going,
Yes.
hopefully not
It's
going.
because it's a kind of change in the making.
Yeah,
And you are working through this. That's really,
yeah,
yeah, definitely. You want to stay away from naysayers and
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
And I guess it's, it's good to have your ideas challenged. I don't think not being challenged is the thing, but sometimes when you're kind of like, actually, I just need, because this is a positive thing. It's a bit like, when you start on a new eating regime or something, as I said about the gym, or, and there's, well, oh, well, you don't want to do that, well, you got to live, you got to have fun, like, well,
Yes, yes. Or if you're trying to stop drinking
oh
alcohol,
god, yeah,
and there's a couple of friends that are like trying to force you to drink alcohol,
yeah.
that's not the person you want to be hanging out with.
No, and ultimately, it's always about them. It's never about you, isn't it? I mean, in pretty much every situation. So, it when you change, you're holding a mirror up to them not changing, which doesn't
Can
mean,
make others feel
yeah,
uncomfortable.
it can, yeah.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
so, I mean, I'm very lucky. My husband is, I think he's probably just used to me coming up with this next new idea kind of thing, but. My family, and actually, really interestingly, I was a little bit worried about telling my son about it, because I thought he would be a little bit. He's quite, evidence based, as I am, and this has thrown that all a little bit off the wall. But and I thought he would be not very receptive to it, but actually he was extremely receptive, and we were able to have that conversation about him feeling quite in his feminine energy, and and that opened a new pathway of. So sometimes not judging people too harshly about, if you wanting to
Mm,
introduce a subject, actually it's somebody might be like, oh, thank goodness, I'm so glad you said, because I feel
yes.
like that as well, and no,
Someone might surprise you.
yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. So
absolutely. And then sometimes it's also okay to have different opinions.
yeah,
You know, sometimes it's like, it's absolutely fine. We don't have to have exactly the same approach or the
Yeah.
same opinion if someone does think differently.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
it's because I'm not saying I'm right. This is just right for me, and and the people I work with. It's been interesting actually, because obviously I have clients from like old Sam, is what I prefer to. And what I've done is I've just invited them, and if they're not like with it and they don't want to, we just train in the normal way. But like, there's nothing really that's changed in terms of like what the programs consist of. So we still do all their stuff and everything, but at the start, we just take a moment to just ground and be in the moment, and let's just shimmy everything down and just be in our bodies. And and then at the end we might do a little bit of yoga, just to central, allow the central nervous system to just process stuff, because that's what I've recognized, is that in the fast bits, we don't get time to catch up. Our central nervous system doesn't always get time to catch up, and so just
amazing
to go, actually, let's just.
I love it. It's I love it. Combination of yoga and strength, because I feel like the yoga will ensure that the body feels safe.
Yes.
So like, you're connected, you're aware of your body, and actually, like, if you're doing intense exercise, that might trigger kind of a feeling of unsafeness in the body.
Yeah.
And sometimes for short periods that can be beneficial, but you don't want to keep walking around with this heightened fight or flight. So the kind of grounding of the yoga type of mindful movements would just be so good to calm down the nervous system after more intense exercise.
Absolutely.
So,
and it's interesting, because then that leads into the pain stuff as well. So being into, it's sort of like a full circle, and it's when it's like there was a missing gap, and then it's gone in. You're like, oh, of course. But the pain stuff is all very much, nervous system based. And as you say, like, things like feeling unsafe is part of why you feel pain, is that this is a danger. There's something not right. And that can be accurate or inaccurate.
Yes.
But having the ability to be able to kind of go, you're safe. And then and then the possibility for me then goes, so, I'm like, oh, wow. So does that mean you'd be able to lift more, for example? Like, could you get, because actually, rather than feeling like, oh, I'm not sure about that knee, you're actually like, no, I feel good about the knee, and actually let's push it a little bit further and see. So that's when I'm like, oh, this is actually really exciting, because actually you can lean more into lifting heavy.
Yes. That immediately came to my mind as well. Kind of, if you set your whole nervous system up to be kind of fully present, mind-body presence, and feeling safe and connected, and then the discomfort, because when you lift heavy, you feel a general discomfort in your body and your muscles, and a lot of people associate that with,
it's awful.
But actually, it's just the discomfort of doing something really tough.
It's hard.
And you can probably then manage more discomfort if you really feel in that centered way.
Yeah.
So in
the same way that I kind of, so we did this, one of the things we did on the retreat was this cacao ceremony, which was part of the thing that I know, to be honest, it's the thing that basically cracked me open, if I'm honest. It was the founding moment. But after that, I have a fear of spiders. And I know it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. I'm working on it, and the reason is because when I went into the bathroom after this, and I was in a deeply different space, very, very different, kind of calm, heart,
very parasympathetic, very, very kind of rest, digest,
absolutely
cool, calm, collected.
Came in, spider in the sink. My normal reaction was like, oh my god. I was like, okay. I went and got a glass. Now, this would never have happened. I went and got a glass, like, okay, it's glass. So I'm like, who even are you? Honestly, it's like part of my identity almost is being scared of spiders. It's like, Sam, she's scared of spiders. It's that's not you anymore. And so I've actually booked in for some hypnotherapy to kind of erase and delete, just because I'm like, actually, I recognize that is not, that's just...
Now you realize, it's like you've scratched the surface and you're like, I realize that's possible.
Yeah.
There is a reality in which I'm not scared of spiders.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. And so, but to have that kind of moment of actually when everything is good and calm, and as you say, the parasympathetic nervous system is completely in control, and we're not having to be like, all the time. It's like your logical
Yes.
brain can, or your subconscious is not running the show the whole time.
Yes, and every little spook isn't a scary, life-threatening thing.
No.
Yes, that's amazing.
The potential is just very excited. Very, very
Oh, I
excited.
love it. I love it. And you just hit on a thing with the cacao ceremony. So just a bit of fun fact. You know, those tubs of cacao, they're like, I don't know, a small tub you get in Sainsbury's or
Oh, okay. So I've just bought a block.
a block. Oh, nice. Oh, that's good too. But I literally go through, I think it's 250 grams. I go through one of those a week
I love
at
that.
the moment.
Well, I thought because this is like a ceremonial grade one, so I don't know whether
Oh,
I do.
even nicer, I'm
You
sure.
have to be. I don't know whether you have to be like mindful of how much you have, but yeah, I was like, oh, I'm whatever that was. I need to keep that. That heart center needs to stay open. So yeah,
Yes.
it's going to be. I don't want those. It's when you find like a door that's got loads of like vines grown over it, and you're like, no, I'm going to need to keep cutting those vines back.
Yes.
Make
Yes.
sure that path is fully open. Then the heart.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you got to
Oh,
open your heart. I mean, it's so
such
gutty, isn't
amazing
it? It's
stuff.
lovely.
I love it. I love it. You're a new Sam,
It's different, right?
and I'm very excited for what the next months, years has in store for you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be keeping an eye on everything
Well,
and
I think
inviting you back.
yeah. I just would urge, as I say, just urge your listeners to kind of think about where the edges can soften. Just allow a little bit of softness to
Yes.
come in, because it's easy
Yes.
to harden off, and yeah, that would be.
And that's generally in life. So it's not just with fitness. So of course we're both advocates for fitness, but in life,
Yeah.
when someone's had so much responsibility that you can get rigid,
Yeah.
and then you can trying to work on that softness. And this message is actually intended for me myself. with the babies I've been going, second baby now, I have a real tendency to get hyper controlling.
Yeah.
So some people might mistake me for a perfectionist, which I am not. I'm actually very okay with not perfection, but I can be very controlling. When I feel like things are tough,
Yeah.
I will be controlling things to the minute, and this has to be that way.
Yeah.
So your message is massively intended for me right now.
It's so easy. Actually, also to not judge. That would be my other thing, is that, like I say, as we said earlier, you do it because you've got to most of the time. And if people are listening kind of going, oh, well, it's all right for you, your children are grown up, and yeah, it's easier for sure. And don't judge. I'm not judging anybody for hardening off, because you sometimes do have to do it. And if you feel like you want to soften off, then don't judge the person before that. I mean, I'm trying very hard to not kind of go, oh, why didn't I know this before? And if only I'd done this, and if only I'm like, you don't, you just don't.
Yeah.
And everything happens at exactly the right time when it's exactly supposed to. And
Absolutely.
that's hence the reason why we're here today.
Yes. I mean, yeah, at the time, you're always doing the best you can, given the knowledge and experience that you have at that point.
Yeah.
So to go back and judge yourself is not productive at all.
Not productive, and unkind, really, to the person who got you this far as well. That's the thing, isn't it? That, as I say, that the maiden thing is quite poignant for me, because it feels like maiden was a long time ago. I mean, you're still in your maiden era, and I'm definitely not. And
I don't feel like a maiden. How tired I am right now. I don't feel maiden-like. Sleeping in a field of flowers.
This is the thing, right? So then when you start kind of thinking, okay, actually, how could you be more like a maiden? Maybe you need to, I don't know, maybe you do need to skip through the meadow with some flowers and have a lightness. It's that lightness, isn't it, that we lack sometimes. Yes. So yeah, but also light but strong, and lift heavy.
Lift heavy and hold your boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. So, well, I know we haven't talked much about fitness, but I do want my listeners to be able to find you if they want some guidance in both lifting heavy, but also doing it in a super mindful way, as you are now getting more into, which I think is fantastic. So where can the listeners find you?
Thank you. So I strength training with mindfulness attached. I guess I'm sort of leaning into this kind of somatic strength kind of vibe. There's also nutrition as well. So, covering the whole thing. With my background in sports therapy, it's kind of wedded into pain science, all of the things married together. And people can find me on Instagram, Samantha_Charlwood, or they can, I'm at Sam at Livestrong is the company name. So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok as well. I was really snobby about TikTok. I know.
Wow.
But yeah, TikTok's
really, down with the kids.
I am down with the kids. So, yeah, all the usual Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Come and find me, come and have a conversation. I run courses, I do masterclasses. There's something for everyone. So yeah, please do drop me a message. I would love to chat.
Fantastic. I'll put all your links in the show notes so
much.
Everyone can easily find you. So Sam, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful conversation. I feel like actually I wasn't recording a podcast. I was just having a good old catch up with you.
Like coffee and chat.
Yes. So we have to get together and do a little bit of brainstorming about yoga strength combos. I
can feel a retreat of our own coming on.
Yes. I can feel this. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.
That was Sam Charlwood, everyone. Fantastic chat. I geeked out so much because, as you know, from the yoga side, I love all of that. I love talking about nervous system regulation, but strength as well, and how we can combine those things. And I think she is on such a great and exciting path to fan the flames of her new perspective and what that's going to mean for how she helps people with her strength training business. So watch this space, get in touch with Sam, look at her socials, see what she's up to. Definitely. And so before I say goodbye, I would love it if you're enjoying this podcast and I'm giving you a little bit of value or entertainment, please consider giving me a rating and review on whichever app you are listening this on. It's a free way to support my show, and the algorithm really likes it. And by extension, I will really like it, obviously. So thank you so much. It takes minutes. So thank you in advance. So next week, I will be coming to you again with a whole fresh new episode. So have a fantastic week, everyone. And remember, let's just work on softening those edges a little bit. I'm personally going to do this as well. As I mentioned, I can be a bit hyper-controlling, especially when I'm looking after 2 little children. So trying to find a little bit more of my feminine energy is going to be my homework. So have a lovely week, everyone. Bye.